Hello there, my name is Brendan Deneen and I'm proud to be a supporter of the Royal Humane Society. As I'm sure you probably know now, in this 250th year, the Society is marking the occasion by telling 250 stories from their remarkable archive of thousands of amazing acts of bravery. The story I have for you today is from 1798, and when we think back, it's interesting that this was a period when some of the medical practices and techniques that we take for granted today were still in their development phase and certainly not mainstream. Remember, this is the year when Edward Jenner first published his findings around smallpox. And also this seems to be a period when the application of resuscitation techniques was still in its infancy, and it seems that the role of the Royal Humane Society was to promote the application of those techniques. Such is the case for this story that I have to share with you today, which takes the form of two letters, which I'll read from the archive now and in the language of the day. The first is a letter from Mr. Newell to the Humane Society. He's writing from Colchester Medical Society, and it's dated August the 22nd, 1798, and it reads: "It is with the utmost pleasure I take up the pen to add another instance of the diffusive utility of the truly noble Humane Society. Last week, B. Rattenby, swimming across the river, sunk in the view of several spectators. The body was taken out of the water, swarthy and lifeless. The restorative means were resorted to, and with the happiest success. After an hour and a half attention, signs of life appeared. Mr. Salter restored a sister of this man's last year. Her case was attended with very aggravated circumstances." That's followed in the archive by what seems to be a response from Mr. Salter, expanding a little on what happened. He's writing from Boxford on September the 5th of that year, and he writes: "The young man was underwater at least 7 minutes before we could get anybody to jump in after him. He was, when taken out, an apparent corpse. I had recourse to the means recommended by the Humane Society, and signs of life returned in about half an hour by a grain, which continued about an hour, when he became sensible and spoke to his father. I called the next morning, observed a very full pulse, laborious breathing, and very feverish. I bled him and gave him antiphlogistic remedies. My patient not much relieved, I repeated the use of the lancet, and in a few days his health was perfectly restored. This instance of success enables me to say I have not only restored the body, but saved a soul." And then he finishes with this lovely short poem. Let me read that to you. It says: "To see the vital glow return, reanimate the faded cheek, life's enfeebled spark rekindled, burn, and give what language cannot speak." What a lovely end to his letter and to the record of the application of that technique on that day. Well done, that man, Mr. Salter. So look, and what's interesting for me is, having looked at some of these in the archive, is that, and hopefully that you'll find, and encouraging you to come back and to listen to more, is that the stories evolve into, from resuscitation to rescue and risk of life, and sometimes sacrifice of life to save others. There's a whole body of remarkable stories that I encourage you to come back and have a look. I'd also ask you to consider if you can help what is essentially a small charity, and that is entirely dependent on support from people like you and me. So if you can help in any way, either with a donation or maybe consider becoming a governor of this amazing society for just £100, please have a look on the website and see if you can do so. In the meantime, I want to say thank you for listening today, and thank you for your interest in the Royal Humane Society. Thank you so much. Goodbye.